Viewer listener discretion is advised. The majority of the content of this program is not factual. It is highly advised that it not be used for teaching your children from said content, other than making an example out of the hosts of what they should not grow up to be. Remember this, it's the beer talking.
Welcome to the truth about beer.
All the crap that we're interested in. Searching for the truth. Exploring the unexplained. Investigating the paranormal. Subscribe now.
Hit the alert
button so you don't miss an episode.
Ow!
Welcome to the truth about
beer.
and hey, what's happening?
We're back.
It's only been close to 2 months.
Yes. It's crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun, you know what I'm saying?
Were you having fun?
Lots of it. More than should be legal, you know.
Right. Well, welcome back, brother.
Well, thank you.
So happy to have you back.
It's really good to be back. I've been missing this.
Feels good wearing the shirt again, too, you know? It's been a while.
Yeah, these are the newer ones.
I know. They're nice shirts.
I almost put on my old one. I thought, well, no, that one's scratchy. This one's nice and soft. It's like wearing a diaper. A cloth diaper. It's been washed and downy, you know?
I'm good. Man, we got a lot of people on.
Hey,
What's up, everybody?
I saw Christine and Kathy and Dan and Andrea.
I think Mom was yelling at somebody. She used all caps.
Arthur on too.
So welcome, everybody. We are celebrating our 6-year anniversary doing this. God.
Where has the time gone?
Right? No shit. It's been a wild ride, too.
It sure has. And how many videos total?
Oh, geez.
Let me
There's
see.
tons of them.
Let me get to the top here.
I mean, you're talking live and everything, right?
Yeah, 234 videos.
Jesus. That's a lot. That really is a lot.
It's a couple.
It's a few.
More than we'll be able to talk about tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Don't have time for all that stuff, but yeah, man.
It'd be kind of fun to reminisce on some of the older ones that we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Amy.
And we figured we'd actually kick it off with the beer we started with, which was Blue Moon.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. All about snakes.
And you know what? I've drank, well, I had about a half of a beer last Thursday.
Yeah.
That's this will be the first full beer. We'll see. We'll make sure I get it down. I've had in a couple months.
Well, cheers, everybody.
Yeah. Blue Moon.
And cheers to us.
Oh, keep the shaking. Keep it close to my body.
Oh, I love Blue Moon. Very smooth.
It is.
It's a good beer.
I gotta bring it closer.
There you go. So yeah, we figured we'd recap some of our older episodes tonight and kind of talk about did you do it too?
Yeah.
We moved the camera. The camera's in front of us now, so it's kind of strange that we keep looking over to the right. Those of you that know our studio. Yeah, we figured we'd reminisce on some of the old some of our old episodes.
Going back 6 years.
It's crazy.
Met a lot of people and talked about a lot of topics.
We really did. We really did. Yeah.
Something I never dreamed that I'd ever talk about.
Yeah, it's true, right? I mean, like, because when we first started this, we had no idea where it was going. Right?
Yeah. I know we were trying to pick things out of the air and then you happened to know the people at Herp.
Yeah, at the PHS. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can start there.
It was a great first episode, too.
Yeah, it was. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I learned a lot from that first episode.
Yeah.
Just about reptiles.
Yeah. It was a cool trip. And then we went back on our year anniversary and revisited them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even got more video.
Yeah.
some cool stuff.
Yeah, we really focused on the sanctuary the second time around, because the first time you and I did a tour, but that wasn't really in the episode so much, right? It was more sitting
Right,
down with
'cause, yeah.
Joe. But the second time we went back, it was all about the sanctuary.
Yeah, good tour.
Mhm.
Tour.
Sure.
Yeah, got a lot of video.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, here's to another 6 years. 100%. Yeah, let's keep it going. Keep it going. Right? Yeah. Heck yeah.
Why not?
It's very exciting. So we did put together a little PowerPoint tonight. So we'll kind of share it with you guys as we go through this and reminisce. And, in the audience, if you have a favorite memory of any of our, episodes we did, please share it in the chat.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Gotta keep remembering. to look forward.
Look straight. Look straight ahead.
So there we are.
Man.
Season 1. We got the snakes.
Yep, that was episode 1. And I think it's a little out of order.
Yeah.
Right? So
it was right
yeah.
underneath that one is our episode 2.
Right.
Did with Julia Grayling, and Jack joined us on that one.
Yeah. That was, God, look how young we look. What the hell happened to us?
My hair's dark.
We grew
Or
up.
my beard's dark.
It is dark, yeah. And I wasn't so gray, but I'm not gray now, but just dyed it for the movie, but
Yeah.
And then episode 3 was our first experience at the Gila County Jail with Vinny and his crew.
That was so much fun.
It really kind of kicked off our paranormal interest, right? I mean, we talked about it a little bit in episode 2 with Julia,
Mhm.
because she had her little ghost story that she talked about. But
Yeah. We just didn't have a clue on how to get into that group of
Right.
people,
Right.
to start doing paranormal stuff. So it was a really cool thing that we met Vinny, or you
well,
met him somehow.
I think you and I reached out to a couple of different groups,
Mhm.
and Vinny was the only one that responded, because there was another group I was trying to get in touch with, and they never responded to any of our
Right.
emails. But Vinny came back almost right away and said, "Hey, we're going up to do an investigation in Globe." I think it was a week after we released the first episode, and then because he told us about it, and we went in July. I think July was when we went to
Yeah.
the jail, I believe, if I remember correctly.
It was warm.
It was warm. It was very warm. But yeah, so then we took him up on that offer, and we went up there and did our first ever investigation.
Yeah. And concreted a lasting relationship
We did. Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
So
That still extends to today.
yeah.
Which is very cool. And then we continued on.
and I think you can see that we're grasping at straws on some stuff. You're like, oh, episode 4, maybe we should talk about ourselves and have
Who are
somebody
we?
else interview us. So we
Right.
had our good friend Shane, who's playing bass in our band, come in and interview us.
We had a lot of laughs that episode too. It
Yeah,
was a
we
lot of
did.
fun. That was really cool. And then the episode 5, we interviewed my dad, talked
Yep.
about his books, and that was a lot of fun too.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a really good episode. And then we kicked off another paranormal episode on episode 6. We went up to Acadian Ranch
In Oracle.
in Oracle, and that was our second investigation we did with them.
And we had some pretty cool experiences on that one,
We had good evidence.
or at least with the SLS
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
That was very cool.
That was a fun time.
And we even made more friends on that one.
We did. We just the family kept growing.
Yeah.
That one was a lot of fun. And then we kind of took a weird turn here a little bit, right? Because
But we didn't want to go full balls to the walls paranormal. So we decided to try to do other things too. So thought, well, we're a beer show. So let's see if we can tour a brewery.
Yep.
And you got that arranged.
yeah, we reached out to before I met Alejandro, I reached out to somebody else, but then Alejandro was the one who set up the tour with us. And it was a really cool tour. We got to see all the behind the scenes, workings of Santan Brewery. We did some tasting while we were there, and it was a lot of fun. It was a cool experience for us. And it turned out to be a great episode. I mean, we took you on that behind the scenes
Mhm.
tour essentially during that episode. And then you and I kind of narrated it, but we did our own taste test. Remember? At the
That's
end?
right. Yeah. Yeah. How many different beers did we try?
Oh, it was like 8, wasn't it 8 or 9 different
It was
beers
a
or something
few.
like that? It was a lot. It was all their beers.
And if you're
essentially.
familiar with some of Santan's brews, like their, the green can, the moon juice.
Moon juice.
Yeah. See, that one's like a 7-8% or something.
It's pretty high.
So- and all they had was a big can of that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's all. Yeah. And we split that, I think, on the episode, or we had 2 of them or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we were feeling good.
There's been a lot of episodes where we were feeling good. But yeah, that was a fun time though. I really enjoyed that, making that episode. And if you're joining us for the first time tonight, you can go back to our YouTube channel and watch all these episodes. They're still on there, so we definitely encourage you to go back and check them out. Even if you watched them before, maybe you started with us 6 years ago, go back and watch some of the old ones. I know we do occasionally. So
Yeah, there's lots of things I forget about that
Yeah.
we did or said, and that was pretty funny.
yeah, we've had some funny moments too. Definitely.
Yeah, and this other episode, was it 9 or was it 8? Did I have those out of order too? So no, that's right. That would have been 8.
8 was, yeah.
Turned out to be one of my favorites that we did.
I know.
It was our selfie sode. And
That was fun.
yeah, turned out to be awesome.
Well, we wanted to explore, kind of the culture behind selfies, right? How it got started, and talk about some of the mishaps. Because we really, some of the show was kind of a downer, right?
Yeah, it
Because
really was.
We talked about some of the people who died from taking selfies and stuff like that. But we had a lot of fun doing it too, because you and I discovered
Snapchat.
That's right. And we started doing a bunch of Snapchat stuff. Plus, we had, as you could kind of see from the flyer, we had our friends and family take selfies too and submit them, and we put that on the flyer itself. So that was a lot of fun. That was cool. So definitely go check that episode out if you get a chance. And then 9 was very special.
Yeah, that was kind of a
Right.
2-parter, because we interviewed my son and his wife, the autistic child, but before that, we went to the
haunted house.
Yeah, for autism.
Autism. Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yeah. That was a special episode. It really was.
Yeah.
It was one of our, I'd probably say one of our more serious episodes, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Talked about the challenges and some of the things that are available to those families.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And the haunted house was great too. That was a neat experience to see some of the kids, and
They did a
going
great
through it.
job
Oh,
on
it was
that
great. It
haunted
was
house.
awesome.
They, wasn't just like a normal neighborhood haunted house. They did a
Well, I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't figure out how to get the hell out of there. It took me a little bit. I was crying for Joey. He's like, Joey, don't leave me.
that wasn't all just the garage, though, was it? I mean, did
No,
go
they
into their
built out.
house
I think they built out, extended from the garage. They built out the garage.
an extension.
If I remember correctly, I think.
Yeah,
they
I
did.
think you're right.
it was
It
big.
did come out
Yeah.
further.
It was big, but it was fun.
I don't know if they're still doing it.
I didn't see it advertised this past year because I was actually looking for it, but I'm sure they still do it in some capacity.
I hope so.
Unless the HOA shut them down, but I doubt it. That would be terrible if they did that.
Be awful.
And then we kind of wrapped up the season. It was around, end of October, right?
Mhm.
November. And I think we took a break for Christmas. We decided we were going to come back after the first of the year. So we did our Halloween episode, which Julia came back
Yep.
for that one, along with Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to share in Brittany's experiences, which I do recommend going back and watching that
Yeah.
episode. And then we had some people call in, right? We had some
Right, yeah,
people
with
call
their
in. I
ghost
think
stories.
Your sister called in.
My sister
Yeah.
did, and then I think Michelle did too.
Yeah,
Michelle told us a couple good stories, and I can't remember her name, but it was pretty freaky. The last lady that called in.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that one too. That was an interesting story.
Yeah. She had bats flying in her house.
It was weird. It
Or
was very
something.
strange, but it was a great episode. We had some really good ghost stories.
Definitely check it out.
Yep.
I'll
Yep.
worry.
We keep looking. For those of you that don't know, we have a big TV off to the right, and that's normally where we look, but we move the camera because that's normally where the camera is. So we move the camera in the center tonight, and we're not used to looking in the center. So it's going to take some adjustment.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. And then we had our Paranormal Adventure 1.2. I don't know why we call it 1.2, but
We were trying to do the, well, it's not even binary if you put a 2 in there, is it?
no. So I don't know why we did that. But anyway, that was,
I guess it's because it was still the first season. And it
oh,
was,
it could be, huh?
but it should have been 3, right?
Yeah,
If
it should have
we
been
were
our
keeping
third
it.
episode. Yeah.
So I don't know what we were thinking.
I don't know either. Because maybe we only named one other one Paranormal Adventure. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's Superstition Skies was a bar that we worked at quite often as a band. And we'd always heard stories
Yeah.
about the place and that it was haunted and all that. So finally made arrangements to do an investigation. And we got some good stories from some of the patrons there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool.
And we had some interesting stuff happen to us too. We had complete SLS footage just disappear. Remember that?
Oh, that's right.
We caught the man in the corner and then it just disappeared. Yeah, that was bizarre. I'd love to go back there though too. It's a cool place. It was popular back in the golden age of movies, I guess you would say, when all the Westerns were being filmed. Elvis had his own booth there. He would come visit there. It was a really cool place. It was a neat little hangout spot. And it was a lot of fun to play when we were playing music too.
In fact, we did our interviews with people at the Elvis booth.
At the booth, yeah. We
Yeah.
sat in the booth. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
That was special.
It was. It really was. So definitely go check that episode out. And then we ended the season with our Star Wars episode. We were all kind of geeks about Star Wars, but I think one of the movies were coming out, which is why we decided to do
Yeah.
it. Right?
I mean, was it at 9 that came out or something? Is that what it was?
It would have had to have been, right? Because it probably was. It was probably 9. Yeah, I think. I don't know.
That's terrible. I can't remember. Hey, my broski's on.
Hey, Steve.
I am alive.
That was I'm alive. Yeah, we had Jay on that episode,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of fun.
So we had Jay on that one and him and his wife on the one before.
Yeah,
the
the autistic,
the autistic. Then he was with us when we did our
on the jail.
at the jail. So
Yeah.
he was like a regular.
He was active in that season, but that was fun. And then we jump into season 2. Season 2 kind of took on a whole new turn for us, right? I
It really
A
did.
lot of stuff changed in season 2. I think we were still in the first studio for part of it, weren't we? Before we moved to your garage.
No, I think we did all of this from yours. Well, no, we didn't.
No, because
101. Oh, because 101 was 204. How did that happen? Or was it just because we needed the space? That was probably it.
yeah, because we did the one with Rachel, we did in the other house,
Mhm.
in my old house. With Tim, we did in my old house, and the zombie one we did in my old house.
Yeah.
Then we moved to your garage after that.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
We haven't gone to my garage yet. This is the beginning of my garage.
Right. Yeah. So we kicked off the new year, kind of new year, new you. We had your daughter Rachel on,
And she's a level 1 CrossFit
she's a rock
trainer
star.
and then also a nutritionist. So
She's a rock star, man. You see the stuff that she does,
yeah,
and
she
how
blows my mind.
And I remember when she first started because she documented a lot of her early,
Mhm.
experiences, and she's just come such a long way, man. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's been. She just posted it. It's got to be more. Well, maybe it has been. See, when did my mom pass? 2013. And it was right after that she started. So yeah, I think she just celebrated 10 years, so it'll be 11 years this year
That's cool.
since she started
Yeah,
doing that. And she is, I mean, she's a diehard. She never misses.
Like I said, she's a rock star. She truly is. Christine likes Parapalooza.
That was at the end of that second season.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where we met Christine.
We'll kind of get into that a little bit too.
Yeah, we will.
And then 202 was a really fun episode. It was almost, knowing Tim now,
Mhm.
the way we know Tim, it was different on that first episode because neither you or I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
We had met Tim several years back at a bar that we played in. And I don't know how you reconnected with him.
Well, he started a page on Facebook called Alien Stories or something like that.
I think I remember that.
And
Yeah.
he was posting people's, stories of abduction and alien contact and whatnot. But then he mentioned his own experience, but he didn't really expand on it,
Right.
And so I thought, well, we need to have him expand on that.
Right. Plus,
So
we like UFOs.
Yeah. So I get a hold of him and, he, such a nice guy. So it's like, oh yeah, I know who you are and blah, 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 blah. And then the second he gets off that text I sent him, he goes to his wife, goes, who's this Joey guy? She goes, oh, you remember Joey? Met him at,
Whiskey Rose.
Whiskey Rose. Yeah.
Yep.
He goes, no.
Uh,
Fun stuff.
it was a fun stuff.
That episode ended up blowing our minds and really changed the whole season.
It really did. Yeah, it really did. You can even just see in the thumbnails how the season's changed, right? How we were growing as a show. We were growing as podcasters, as hosts. The whole thing was just coming together. And I think really still to this day, the zombie episode is probably one of my favorite
Yep.
episodes.
Mine too.
Hands down. I mean, for those of you that haven't watched it, you need to go back and watch it. It was a blast.
And just keep in mind that it was the second take that you're watching. And that's what really made it better.
Should we tell the story for the people that don't know?
Sure. Yeah.
So we pre-recorded a lot of our episodes. Most of our episodes back then we did. We didn't go live at this time. So we pre-recorded, edit it, and put it out. So we got done recording, thought it was a great show. And let me start with the beer that we were drinking. So it was Dead Guy Ale. Okay. And I had bought cans and bottles because we were going to do a comparison between cans and bottles to see if there was a different taste. Right. So I don't think we ended up doing that. We just ended up drinking the cans, I think, initially, or we drank the bottles first. I don't remember.
I think we did the cans the first time around,
Probably.
and then we did the bottle on the second episode or the second time.
Second
through.
take.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a choice. So we get done and we're both looking at each other like, I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah.
That was a good episode, right? And I don't know if it was you that looked
Yeah, it was
over
me. And I went over to turn off the recorder. Well, we did it separate. So we did video and then we did audio on a separate
Yeah.
track, and then we'd match it up. So I look over at the audio recorder and notice the light's still green. It should be red. Said, oh shit, I didn't hit record. So we scrambled for a few minutes ago. All right, let's do it again.
So we did the whole episode again.
Yeah.
And it actually turned out great. I mean, we're a little tipsy during it.
But it was
Because
good.
we finished all the cans and then we were on the bottles at this point. So it was cool. It was a good episode. But again, probably hands down one of my favorite.
Yeah, I concur.
And then we did another episode with Vinny and the crew. Ghost hunting 101, right? So we kind of talked about the ins and outs of being an investigator. So Vinny, was the whole team there or just Vinny at the time?
I think Vinny was just there on that one.
But who did he interview? Was it
Brittany.
It was Brittany, right? We had
Yeah.
Brittany come out. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah, on part 2.
that's right. It was part 2. So we had Brittany come out, the one who had the ghost stories during our Halloween episode, and we had Vinny take us through a questionnaire, how he would approach if a homeowner came to him or somebody came to him with a paranormal experience, how would they handle it as a team? And that was pretty cool. That was a neat experience to run through
Yeah.
that.
That's a good thing to have something like that when
Yeah.
you're a serious, hunter.
My nose is itchy. Sorry. I don't know why. My allergies. are
I'm
bothering me.
sniffling too, but because you can weed out a lot of the flaky people and
Yeah.
those that are just
Just by doing
wanting
the
attention.
questionnaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly what he said. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
And then the episode after that was another one of my favorite episodes
Yep.
that I don't think got the watch we thought it was going to get, but it was.
It was a very solid episode.
It was. So we talked about the atomic bomb, the history of it, and
Yeah, Oppenheimer got all the attention.
He did.
This episode should have
did.
got it. So
and then it was a good beer too. We had that. It was in that real tall bottle. It
What
was
was it?
that
Cherry bomb?
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
it was a
never find
sour,
it.
wasn't it? Or was it a
Yeah, it was kind of like a sour. Yeah, it might have been a cider. But I don't remember how cider.
it probably was a
It was
cider.
delicious though.
Yeah.
I remember it was really good.
Very tasty.
It was a huge bottle too, and I can't find it because there was another one by the same company that we did later on. It was it was the green bottle,
Wasn't Elysian that did that?
wasn't it? No, I have it downstairs. But they were both good. They were both really good beers. So of course we had to do the second one. But that was a fun episode. I really enjoyed that episode. We had a good little intro to it. It was cool. It was well done.
I thought so.
There you go. There's part 2.
That is it.
And that was the interview part. Okay, so that was the part where we brought in Brittany.
Yeah, and her story is pretty freaky. Ever since she was a little kid,
Yeah, the experiences she had.
Yeah.
We never got to go to her apartment, and she doesn't live there anymore. I don't think so.
No.
I'd be curious to know if what was there had followed her, because it had seemed to follow her before. So I'm curious if she was able to get rid of it or not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now she's married and all that fun stuff too. So
Yep.
Who knows?
You never know.
And here's where things really changed in this season.
Yeah.
Was on our episode 207. So we invited Tim to join us as a co-host.
Yep. And things got interesting from there.
They sure
That's
did.
for sure.
He brought a lot of interesting topics to the table.
He did. We had some cool experiences during that time too.
Mhm.
I like the Roswell one because we got to go to Roswell. We took a trip and we got to spend the day, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, checking out the town and
Museum.
Yeah. Didn't we also was that the time we did an investigation out there too? Or did we just go to Roswell? I can't remember.
Well, we did an investigation. I think. Isn't that when we did the Adobe Deli?
Yeah, because we did Adobe Deli, but we didn't do Doniana. We just did
No.
Adobe Deli.
Yeah, the others took off to Doña
Doña
Ana,
Ana.
and we went to Roswell.
Right.
I think is what happened there.
I think you're right. I think it was 6 years ago. I don't remember.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, we'll get to Mikey for sure. And then our New Mexican adventure, right? That was when we actually went to Doña Ana. And man, what an experience.
Yeah. Oh, we included both of them on there. That's
Yeah.
because we did the Lewis Flat School, which
Yep.
is the Adobe Deli, yeah, and Doña Ana.
But I'm trying to think what we did. I think you're right, though. I think we did Adobe Deli, but we didn't talk about it on our Roswell episode, I don't think. I don't know. Now I'm confused because there's one we did Adobe Deli
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't go to Doña Ana. And the second time we went back, we went to Doña Ana. And I think that
Yeah.
was our New Mexican adventure yeah,
Yeah. I think that's right.
I can't remember.
But it was fun.
It was fun.
So I know on that episode on 208 where we talk about Doña Ana wasn't actually our investigation.
Right.
It was Wendy's and Ghost Cruise.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I remember
Investigation,
it freaked
yeah.
me out. The shit that they were talking about during that, it really freaked me out. Like, I'm like, we got to go to this place. We got to check it out.
And we did make it.
And I'm glad we did. I'm glad we finally got there.
Yeah, the next one. My talented daughter, Michelle, and her talented daughter, Shaylin, brought in all the gnomes that they had made. And we talked about gnomes and are they mystical or are they
Mythical.
mythical?
Mythical or mystical, I think.
Yeah. Or are they real?
And we got into things like fairies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
We started talking about all that kind of stuff, and that was cool. That had a lot of us in that episode, though, right? It was me, you, Tim. It was Shaylin. It was Michelle. It was Lindsay. I think we were all part of it, right? Everybody was there.
Yeah. Well, the table was
It was full.
full too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a neat episode.
And there's the naked Bigfoot gnome right there, almost right underneath you.
Yeah, yeah. We have some of those gnomes here in the studio.
We do.
Today, which is kind of cool. So one day we should make a video of the studio, kind of talk about all the things that we have in here.
Yeah. Display cases have some
Yeah.
cool stuff in them.
Do some history behind some of the stuff we have. That was cool. And then episode 210, man, that was another good episode. That was a lot of fun making that episode. Because that's when we went up to Payson.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, road trip on that one again.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So it started out as a Bigfoot hunt.
right.
Remember we were going to camp out and find Bigfoot and everything? Well, that didn't work out.
No, the investigation took us in different ways.
Well, we got to see a really cool cemetery, the Pioneer Cemetery.
Mhm.
That was, we got special permission to go in there after hours, which was a lot of fun because that was my first cemetery.
Really,
I
that was
investigated.
mine. Like an after hours kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, the first investigation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in cemeteries before.
Right.
But
but not
haven't
to
investigated.
investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had some really interesting stuff happen.
Yeah. So for our Bigfoot expedition, we built a parabolic dish and decided to set it up at the cemetery while we were investigating, and went back and listened to it. And there was one part in there also we're hearing some Native American chanting going on. It was kind of wild.
That was strange. Hey, Pammy. Pammy's on.
Hey,
Speaking of our family.
we were just talking about Benny.
Yeah. So the other thing we ran into on that episode, which was cool, was the little antique store.
Serendipities. Is that what it's
Serendipity.
called?
That's right. You're
Yeah.
right. Good job, man. I can remember that. Yeah, Serendipity. That was when that was a weird night because Lindsay got an attachment
Mhm.
that night. Yeah, it was just a strange night. It was a cool place though, man. They had everything in that. And we had gone in during the day, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And we told them what we were doing here.
And they said, "Oh yeah, come on back."
We're like, okay,
And we did.
since our Bigfoot didn't work out.
Hello, Vinny. He's on too.
Hey, Vinny. So we got to we did the Bigfoot thing. We got to go down a trail and kind of do some hiking, and we saw some interesting stuff. We saw those cars that had gone over the edge, and we started getting some weird stuff on the ghost tube, and that was kind of interesting. But I think the highlight was definitely the cemetery and the antique store
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, we definitely came home with some stuff to share.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Turned out to be a really good episode.
Yeah, that was a fun one. It was definitely a different season for us. And then we did episode 211. We did Monsters and Myths. That was kind of cool. That was a fun episode.
Yeah, well, that one we did live. Well, I guess there's a few of them on the last page we did live too.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I remember that. That was a live one that we did. Then, of course, 212 was our 1 year anniversary.
So I went back to the good old snake pit.
Yep. Did our second tour there. And like I said, that was more of a actual tour of the park. and all the animals that they had. You know, we did a lot of cool video footage on that one. So definitely go check that one out if you get a chance.
And then we did our Doña Anna.
That's when it was.
Mm-hmm. We had the whole jail and courthouse to ourselves all night long.
That was probably one of the coolest experiences, I think, at least I've had on any of our investigations, that place. Because just beyond the creep factor of that place, right?
Mhm.
When it's pitch black, it just, some of the stuff we got was pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of unexplainable noises that were, I mean, besides the crashing doors and all that we got
Yeah.
upstairs. I know one point, Darren and I were walking down the stairs, and we got to one of the middle landings, and the floor above us, all of a sudden we hear like a metal desk or something getting, you know, pushed
Driving
like
across
up against a wall or
Yeah.
something. I was like, "Whoa, nobody's up there."
And didn't we get that on recording?
We did at the very end. I didn't
Right.
get that, but I know we were doing our little quiet session at the end of that. And we just asked for one more sign or something
Yeah.
that somebody was there with us. And then we heard that same screeching upstairs. Thank you.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was funny. What a cool place, though, man. And what's her name? Vicky. She was awesome. She was an amazing lady. You know,
Mhm.
God rest her soul. She passed away a couple of
That's
years
right.
ago, and it was really sad because that's if you're in the paranormal, you know, industry, I guess I would say that's a place you got to go check out. I want to go back. I really could before they turned into a hotel.
Or I guess a hotel.
Was it a hotel resort or something?
Yeah,
they turned
it
it
was
into?
like a conference center or something. I can't remember what.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. So during that second season, when we started doing a lot of live stuff, we had a chance to interview a lot of people, and we'll kind of go through that in a bit. But because of that interaction, we met a lot of very interesting people and content creators. And so for our Christmas episode, we decided to do a big old collab with some of these people. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch the 12 Days of Creepmas.
Yeah. That was a fun collab. It took a long time to do it. And we collabed with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
It wasn't just US. It was
No,
all
we
over
had
the
one in
world.
Russia.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a couple in Canada. And
UK, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very cool. It was a cool experience. And then we did the karaoke version. So
with the bouncing boobies.
bouncing booties. So you gotta go check it out. If you haven't seen that, definitely go check that one out. That was a blast to do. And it came together pretty good.
Very surprising.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So-
before we really realized how serious the old small c coronavirus. Yeah,
Just say the vid.
that guy. Before we knew how bad it was really going to be, we decided to do a PSA. You know, we knew it as Corona,
All right.
so that was our little take.
We did a whole didn't we do a whole episode on it?
No, I think we just did the picture.
Just do it with the
and
PSA.
Just put it out as a PSA.
Okay.
Yeah. You know,
Uh,
I mean, it was good information or good advice. Be safe, wash your hands, drink beer, listen to TTABA.
right.
I mean,
But I will say though, as much of a joke as that was another turning point for our show
yeah, it really was.
because it made us start to go live, right? More.
Yeah, we couldn't go out and investigate or
Right.
any of that kind of stuff. Kind of everybody was on lockdown. Yeah.
So, you know, Joey and I credit us for starting that whole live thing because it seemed like after we did it, everybody jumped on the bandwagon.
Yes.
And it could have been coincidence because of the vid, but it was interesting to see. But everything from that point was live, and we haven't gone back and produced any episodes, right? Everything we've done was live. since then.
Yeah. Well, the music to my beers we did as
Did we? We
yeah,
I thought
we
oh, we
recorded
didn't do that
those.
live, did we? No,
Yeah.
those were recorded. Okay.
Yeah. But pretty much everything else has been live. So
Yeah.
so these others like the Atlantis live is live. Haunted Dolls live.
Yep.
And then we had Mike Coleman come on, Mike the Naked Bigfoot, and he did a whole thing on voodoo, and that was a crazy episode.
That was insane.
Yeah, so it was around this time. It was almost exactly 5 years ago. 'Cause it was, what did I say, June 26th or something like
something
that
like
is when Mike called in for the first time, because we'd had open lines on our
I remember that. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
yeah on our live show, and he called in, and I talked to him on not X. I mean, it was
Twitter.
back then, and so we knew his name, Mike the Naked Bigfoot,
Right.
and Voodoo Man 3 was his handle on Twitter. So when he messaged us, I'll call in. I said, okay. And yeah, that was one of those call-ins that made me pick my jaw up off the floor,
Mhm.
So he told us about the Bigfoot that lived
On his property.
and we thought, this guy's awesome. We got to have him back. So
We did.
We had him back a few times, and yes, and
Yeah.
we're still planning on doing a very special tribute show.
To him.
To
Yes,
him.
Absolutely. Yeah. We need to.
I just don't want to throw something together that's not going to do it justice.
No,
so,
it needs to be.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the one episode, and I can't remember if it was How I Met My Spirit Guide, but when his voice completely changed during the episode. You remember that?
oh yeah,
When
it always seemed to be when he talked about his spirit guide.
yeah, it was that episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. That was the craziest thing I ever heard live, right? I mean, it happened right in front of you. There was no denying it. It was
Yeah.
very strange.
And it sounded like underlying voices also going on at the same time.
Yeah.
So one to definitely watch.
Yeah, definitely check that one out. And of course, if you watch the Haunted Doll episode, that's how we met Julie and got introduced in a very weird way. But yeah, that was cool too. You almost choked yourself jumping off the chair, but
I was tethered.
you were tethered. That was great though. That was a really fun episode too. And a lot of cool stuff happened in that episode.
Yeah, and then we decided on our live shows, we tried to start doing some series on things that kind of go together. So we threw those ones together.
Yeah, and the whole Happy Unexplained Hour just became kind of a segment, right? It was a whole
Yeah, it
series
became
of stuff that we did.
the show.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what the is about, in case you guys
Huh.
don't know. Happy Unexplained Hour. So we did the Deja Vu one, which was pretty cool. That was a fun episode. Reincarnation was awesome because I still love that picture of Joey's doppelganger there. And then we actually did a doppelganger episode, which was really fun. And then clones, which was kind of a creepy episode, in my opinion.
Well, what's creepy about it is you know what's going on.
Right.
And
Which one? Jack was in. Which one was Jack? Jack was in that one, right? The clones
Yeah.
one. I think. Wasn't my dad in the Reincarnation one too? Didn't we? bring him
yeah,
on for
your
that
dad
one?
was in that one.
Yeah, that's what I
the
thought.
special guest.
Yeah. Oh, there it
Yeah,
says it right
Dixon,
there.
Yeah, Jack was on that one too, wasn't
Yeah, I
he?
think he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was a good little series we did, kind of back to back there. It was neat. And I think probably one of the things I'm most proud of that we did, that we took our first stab at kind of a documentary type
Mhm.
episode, was our alien DNA one, because it just, even going back and if you were with us, what, a month ago or not quite a month ago, we did it. You were back home again.
I was back home.
I think, yeah, because you jumped on in the chat. So I thought you were back home. Or were you still in the hospital? I don't know. I think you were back home.
Probably.
When we did it. So we re-aired that episode, and Joey and I were in the chat kind of communicating with you guys. But that was just it's about a jaw-dropping experience, right? I mean,
the last 2 months have been kind of a blur. Just so you know.
Maybe you were abducted.
Ooh, maybe.
You never know.
I know I'm not. I'm no longer non-GMO. So.
Right. But yeah, go check that out if you get a chance. Our alien DNA episode. It was a lot of fun. Lindsay did the interview, and Joey and I just sat there with our jaws dropped to the floor so the whole time. But it was good. It was
2 camera angles.
Yep. Yeah, 2 different camera angles, and she was very nice to let us into her home and have a conversation with her, and it was pretty mind-blowing experience for us. Whether you believe it or not, it really doesn't matter. I think after you watch that, you're going to have some bit of non-skepticism, I guess you would say, right? If you listen to her. So good deal there. And then we did our paranormal talk that was kind of another series we did, right? Was Paranormal Talk.
Yeah.
Joe Thompson was one that we had on. That was a great episode.
And he moved to
France.
Yeah,
he relocated to France.
Wow.
Yep.
That was a really good interview.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that interview. He was a good guy. We saw him at was it Vulture City? He was out. He came out when we went out there. I think he sat down and had lunch with us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think.
Yeah. That's when we found out he was going to move, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was fun. And then we did we visited one of our old stomping grounds where we used to play music.
Yeah, it was closed because of COVID.
Because of COVID, right?
So we were able to get in and
do an investigation.
And it was hot.
It was hot. It was really hot. But it was a good investigation, too. That was fun. I'd love to go back there. And I'm sure Mo would let us back in.
Probably would.
It'd be tough though, because he doesn't really ever close, right? I mean, probably at 2 a.m.
Yeah. It'd be a very late or super early, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. Which could be good though, right?
Yeah.
Because you get all that activity of everybody being there, and then it shuts down.
Oh, that probably would kick up some activity.
Yeah.
But we did catch some really cool activity with a soccer ball or a beach ball, whatever it was.
When it started rolling on the floor.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's in that episode.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot of fun too. And then, sadly, I don't really remember this episode. Well, I don't know why.
I think that we were talking about, or trying to surmise if music could be a tool in ghost hunting.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that episode.
So I think that's the one where I brought out my little theremin, or whatever you want to call that thing.
Yeah.
But that's all I remember too.
I don't remember much.
Well, out of 279 episodes,
that's not bad. That's not. But we only forget one. Does anybody remember that episode? I'm just curious because I really, maybe we were really drunk. What do we drink that episode? I
would have to revisit that to see.
I think so. I'm gonna go back and watch that one again. And then we did. This is really season 4, wasn't it? That this kicked off.
Yeah.
So we decided to take a little break from the paranormal.
Because I had the last episode we did on there, what's your name? Yeah. I was in Texas.
You were. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
and we only did 4 of these.
Yeah. That's crazy.
For some reason, I'm thinking we did more. So this was Music to My Beers, which was just a cool little break from everything we were doing, right? To go back to what we enjoy, how Joey and I first met, playing music, and it was a commonality we had with a lot of people, it turned out. We even did the one with Heavy Metal Beer Club.
Yeah, that was fun.
Andrea and Arthur, I mean, it was a blast. It was really fun to do that. And we did it with, I can't remember his name, Gentry, right? Gentry. I can't remember the other guy's name either. God, I'm bad at that.
Well, it was Tim.
Oh yeah, his name was Tim.
His name was Tim. Yeah.
And then of course the guru of the suds,
Jeff.
And that was, so those are fun episodes. That was cool.
Yeah. We're all talking about something we're passionate about and drinking some beers we enjoyed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And good, some good lessons on music history too.
Yeah.
We talked about, one was, I think it was the misunderstanding one, was we were talking about the lyrics, right?
Yeah,
misunderstood lyrics.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. That was cool. So yeah, Gentry was cool. He was very cool. He was funny too. He was a funny guy. And then I figured I'd throw in a slide there of some of our, adventures over the last 6 years that Joey and I have done. And, it's been a blast. So the picture top almost center was the very first picture we took when we kicked off the idea of doing the podcast, right? That was our first drink we had and our little initiation into the podcasting world.
And then we're outside saying, now what do we do?
Now what do we do? Where do we go from here? But we've had a lot of cool experiences. We've met a lot of great people. We really have. And most of whom are on the show tonight, and we appreciate every one of you guys for your love and your support over the last 6 years. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys. And, I feel like we really built a family. I mean, between, Vinny and Pam and Andrea and Arthur and Christine and just everybody on this, I mean, you guys are all our family, and we definitely appreciate the hell out of you.
Some new ones coming up, like Amy. She's been on a lot.
So we continue to grow, which is really a lot of fun. And then here's where Joey comes in, because I can't read.
So all those shows we did, or we also talked about doing a lot of ones that we titled Paranormal Talk. So those ones we invited different people from the community from all over the country, come on the show and let us interview them. So Joe Thompson, we talked about him. Melissa Drury was actually one of the first callers we had. She appeared on a couple of Travel Channel shows. She had a haunted brass bed, which was one of them.
She was an EMT or
she was an
medic?
An EMT.
EMT.
Yeah. And that was another episode that was that I saw, that she had gone into a house where the house had burnt down, and she tried to save the person in the bed, but they had passed, but she still saw the person, on the bed, whatever. But it was kind of
I remember that
pretty wild episode. And then we had Doug and Francis from Beyond the Veil got on with us. I miss those guys. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, they used to do a lot of lives.
Yeah.
They stopped doing lives. I don't know what happened to them.
Then Drew from 303 Paranormal TV. Of course, Mike Coleman, a.k.a. Naked Bigfoot.
Yep.
Alicia Roof, Craig Layton, who used to dress up as Michael Myers and do all kinds of crazy stuff on.
He's got some funny videos
on Twitter.
Really funny videos.
Dustin Lisa South Cack, Mike Ortiz from Super Horror Show.
Yep.
We met him. Jeff Stay, the guru of the Suds, was on. Sassy Spooky Siren. I'm trying to remember that one, and then one I'll never forget is Grandma Spirit Dolls, because she helped us learn about Julie. So and Johan, yeah. Longhorn Paranormal, Brian Weaver, who runs a website called Ghost Quest, and he also writes books on haunted locations in different states and towns.
Didn't he create like an interactive map where you can go through, and isn't that on the site where you can pick out all the haunted locations or something like that? He was getting to do in the whole country.
Yeah.
I thought he was working on that.
Something like that. And then Amy and Laney from What the Paranormal. still friends with them too. Scotty Gowan, who was Tim's stepdad. That was
a crazy episode
Yeah.
too. That was interesting.
That was very, very interesting.
Yep.
George Shoplin.
Yep.
And this was a crazy one. We had Carl L. Johnson, who was a demonologist that used to work with Ed and Lorraine.
Yep.
Warren.
That was a great episode too.
Yeah.
That was a fun episode.
Let's see, Debbie Branning, who's written many, many books, which I have a few of them on haunted places. Jay and Marie Yates, who they used to run Vulture City.
Boulder City. They moved to Florida or something, or Tennessee or something.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
something like that. And I think it was Tennessee, maybe.
I think they're out of the industry altogether.
I think
right?
so.
Yeah.
And Leon Wilkes was another demonologist.
Mhm.
And Patty Negri.
Yep.
That was an interesting interview.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we ran into Patty a couple times since then.
Yeah.
We ran into her at the Vulture City
Yeah.
paranormal Paracon that we did.
yeah, very nice
with
person
Vinny.
too.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, she is a sweet person. She's a very nice person. And of course, we couldn't put everybody on the list that we've had as guests because we'd be here all night because we've had a lot more too. And
Yeah.
we named a few in the beginning. Some of that we consider you guys our family today.
Right.
And it's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of
Won't
fun.
change any of it.
No, I wouldn't change anything. And of course, special thanks to our family and friends who have helped support us over the years. Like I said before, we couldn't do it without you guys. We this is truly a passion of ours. Joey and I, we're still passionate about music, right? I mean, we love getting up in front of an audience and playing, but this has become my new favorite love. I mean, I love music. I love playing music still, but there's a lot less grueling than gigging at a bar. But it's very rewarding because you guys appreciate what we do. See, a lot of you don't understand when you play in a band and you play in front of people, you can have the best night of your life.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe two people in the audience appreciate it, if that. Right. Typically.
Right.
So at
Yeah.
least here we make good connections. We meet wonderful people. We have good conversations. I just think it's very rewarding to do what we do. And that's why I love doing the live thing so much because we get to interact with you guys. So,
Absolutely.
you agree? Do you concur?
I concur. Which means we're not going to stop doing any lives.
No.
But as far as truth about beer, we're going to start doing some pre-recorded episodes again. I still have some issues, which
You're working through it.
I'm working through it, but it's probably not till November before I'll hopefully have it all worked out.
Yeah.
So our goal is to at least put out 2 pre-recorded episodes a month and then do 1 live.
Yeah.
And that way we can keep in contact with everybody.
And maybe
Yeah.
the pre-recorded ones we'll put out as a premiere.
Oh yeah. So
and,
we'll
and
be-
Joey and I'll come on in the
Right.
chat and chat with you guys.
yeah. So you won't see us, but you can read what we have to say.
And talk to us. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah, we're looking forward to the future. Looking forward to continue to build this. And we appreciate you guys hanging in with us and supporting us. And if you haven't checked out our Patreon page, you probably should check it out. We've been putting a lot of behind the scenes stuff on there. It's been a lot of fun. As most of you know by now, we're making a movie. We're in the middle of making the movie. That's why I haven't shaved in 6 months, but but it's that's been a blast. We definitely been posting stuff on there. So if you get a chance, go to our Patreon page, check it out. Even if you do the lowest membership, it's $1 a month. It's not very expensive and you still get some pretty cool benefits from it. So definitely check it out. So, and Joey, I don't have a hat on, but my hat goes off to you, man. I mean, everything you've endured in the last 2 months, I give
So
you,
it's
I
been
give you so,
interesting.
I give you so much credit. I mean, you know, you're a trooper. You're here. I love the hell out of you. I'm so glad you're back. I missed
man.
working with you, and be nice to get back into full
Missed
swing
you
again.
guys.
I know it's been very empty.
I'm very shiny though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a good look for you. It really is.
I mean, at least it's not a strange look for me.
It's
I
not.
didn't do it on purpose this time.
Yeah. We're
It
the
just
bad
happened.
guys. Oh man. But no, I'm really happy for you, and I'm glad you're back on the mend. I really am.
Well, thanks.
So, and I look forward to the future with all of us. I mean, you know, get back in the saddle again. Finney, Pam, hope to do some investigations with you in the future again, you know, but one step at a time.
Yeah.
Let's get back into it again. So,
Baby steps. For me, anyway.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's good though.
We're getting there.
It's all good. It's all good stuff. So,
Oh, thanks, everybody.
yeah, thanks everybody for your support. Of course, if you haven't, you know, subscribed to our channel yet and you're just joining us for the first time, make sure you go subscribe, like, share, check out our Patreon page. Oh, I did forget, and this is my bad. So I do have to give a shout out to our sponsor,
Oh, yes.
Project Y. Visit projectynow.com. They do have product. We have product here in the studio now. So if you guys are, I don't know, we got to figure something out to give some product away. So they have their face tightening cream.
Oh, I'm going to shake.
And then you want me to hold it? I'll hold it up. And then they have their eye serum, which is pretty cool. You know, we're all taking a test drive on it. So, you know, if you guys are interested in any product, hit us up. I'll tell you what, if you guys join our Patreon page and you do the Brewmaster membership,
Ooh.
then I will ship you guys out some product. So that's
Very generous.
right. I think so.
Yeah.
Plus, you get all kinds of good shit by joining up the Patreon too.
Absolutely.
So you get a koozie, you get all kinds of stuff. So go check it out. Go visit Truth About Beer Patreon page, and I'll send you guys out some product if you sign up to our Patreon. So
That's awesome.
right? I think that's cool. That's cool. We want to show our appreciation too. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. This has been the Truth About Beer, and
Happy anniversary
happy
to us.
anniversary.
6 years.
Cheers to you as our glass disappears,
Mm-mm.
and cheers to our audience. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate your support. We love you guys, and we'll see you
That
guys
we
soon.
do.
And we'll stay tuned for some announcements. We'll get an episode going here soon and put something out for you guys.
Yep.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.
Good night.
See ya.
Welcome to the Truth About Beer.